I used to think the way I felt was completely normal. The low-level stress, the constant tiredness, the sense that life was something that you recover from instead of actually enjoying it. And then I moved to Australia, and look, I know it sounds crazy, but the changes were shocking. I became happier, healthier, and even more confident. And the mad thing is, if I didn't let things get as bad as they did back when I was living in London, I probably wouldn't have even moved to Australia in the first place, which is unbelievable to think about now. So whether you're thinking of moving to Australia or leaving it, I want to give you the 12 reasons that moving to Australia might be the best decision of your entire life. Let's get started. And hey mate, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a British actor documenting my journey of rebuilding life in beautiful Australia. So number one, I saved so much money. I didn't move countries to become wealthier or better with money. It kind of just happened. Now I just want to say that this is my personal experience living in Australia as a Brit. As soon as I could possibly leave university, take my acting degree with me, I moved to London at 20 years old, I think I was. I get an acting job in Japan, make more money than I've ever made, especially from acting. And I come back to the UK with my now Aussie wife that I met in Japan, and we moved to London. We were learning that it's actually really hard to get by, especially in one of the most expensive cities. Shock, I know. Honestly, we were quite unhappy in London. We were getting by, but we weren't living. Then we moved to Australia, and everything kind of changed with money. We weren't rich by any means, but we would go to the cafe and realise that a coffee was $5 instead of £4, which, as you can see, the currency exchange is, I think, fantastic. Yes, we were spending more on groceries, but then we would be filling up our car for like $1.50 a litre. It's usually double in the UK. And although we had the exact same jobs as we did in London, disposable income had entered the chat and said to us, yeah, you guys go out for a little dinner, treat yourself, go to the cinema. And I honestly had no idea what a mental drain the stress of money takes on you. It does chip away at you in the back of your mind, and you realise it's an energy drain you never knew you had until you move somewhere like Australia, and it's not going to hand you millions of dollars and go, yep, you're set for life. Not at all. But in my personal situation, I found that I saved so much more on utility bills, living expenses, petrol. So if you are enjoying any of this at all, hit that like button. It really helps to keep these videos coming. And when money stress drops, you get something back that you forgot you missed, which is number two. Weekends are actually fun again. Weekends here don't feel like recovery days, and I say that as a person who used to have not the best relationship with alcohol, I'll just say. I would live for the weekends in the UK, and I think a lot of Brits would completely understand what I mean. You absolutely grind through the midweek hustle of work. Friday evening comes, you clock out, you head to the pub, and life feels sweet again. And this is the culture that I was brought up in. The weekend is a sanctuary. I realised that I don't like doing that anymore, and it was just an endless cycle and was not fun. And now living in Australia, I made the very tough decision to quit alcohol. Now I truly look forward to the weekends. I wake up with bounds of energy. I can go for a run, I can have a coffee with my wife and my family, I can go out and catch up with friends, and this has turned into the weekends feeling not like an escape, but like an adventure, like a bonus to the week. And when weekends feel good, you start saying yes to people again, instead of constantly saying no, because you know you have to do overtime, you know you have to work more, and maybe you don't want to just socialise at the pub anymore. But I found in Australia, it's quite easy to find your people that you want to say yes to. And honestly, this leads to something a bit unexpected, which is number three. Staying close to home is easier than you think. I'll be honest, keeping in touch with your family and friends when you travel, especially to Australia, absolutely sucks. Searching for free Wi-Fi or getting caught out by roaming fees or paying for calls. This actually happened to me when I was living in Japan, and that's why I would highly recommend using Simify, the eSIM company. And before you skip ahead, I do just want to say, I genuinely believe having a reliable eSIM plan when you travel to somewhere as far as Australia is very, very important. So basically an eSIM is mobile data that you download straight to your phone. There is no need for a physical SIM card, waiting at a long line in an airport, at a kiosk, or using this really annoying eSIM ejector tool. So before I fly, I can grab a plan with Simify, download it to my phone, that's it. When I land, I tweak my phone settings and I'm online within minutes. So I'll throw some B-roll up of me actually setting it up myself so you realize how easy it is. It's literally scanning a QR code, right? And then following a couple of prompts, it literally tells you everything you need to do. You can't get it wrong. And honestly, when I was living in the UK, I was very complacent about seeing my mum and dad. I didn't make enough time with them, which I really regret. But now I'm in Australia, I want to travel this country as much as possible, so having reliable mobile data for that weekly chat we do on FaceTime is super important for me. So if you're traveling, get your Simify eSIM before you fly. You can use my code SAM for 15% off by either scanning the QR code here, or there's a lovely link in the top of the description below. Now, once your mobile data stops being a worry, something else quietly changes too, which is number 4, my social life is better than ever. Contrary to the cliche, I didn't think that moving to Australia would make me more social. Sure, I thought I should probably join a run club. I still need to do that. But I thought, I've got my wife, I've got my in-laws. Do I really need to go out and make that many friends? But people talk here very casually. It's not this big thing of, oh, I'm walking up to this person, I need to talk to them now, I really need to make an effort, I really need to engage. It's not that pressure of the social judgment that I experience quite a lot in the UK. I was quite shocked at how natural conversation flows here, because I spent a lot of my teenage years being very shy. I would not have been able to talk to a stranger. So much so that I really worked on my confidence, because I knew I wanted to become an actor and I knew I needed some level of confidence for that. And one of my ways of doing that was running for head boy when I was in 6th form, my last 2 years of high school. And then I had to do a big speech to my entire cohort. I really was terrified, and I didn't think that people would vote for me. Maybe a few of my mates in my year, but I didn't think anyone would vote for me. But then I wake up on Monday and I find out that I got it. I got head boy. I was like, this is crazy. And getting out of my comfort zone really helped with that. And the thing is, I thought, I'm moving to Australia, it's well within my comfort zone. Yes, it's a long flight, but it's beaches, it's sunshine, it's gorgeous. And I got here and it was a big shock to my system, as you might have seen from my previous YouTube videos. And so I was afraid that apart from my wife and my wife's family, I was going to be lonely. I wouldn't make any mates of my own. But how wrong I was. I know I've mentioned in the past, sometimes it's difficult to make friends here, but I found that striking up conversations that turn into friendships can be quite natural. They can be quite effortless. Invites just happen. You don't need to organise them 5 weeks in advance. You stop overthinking whether you're bothering someone. You let the conversation flow naturally, and when it's time to wrap up the conversation, you don't get all awkward about it, which I still do sometimes, I must admit. And it makes you feel really excited again. And smoothly transitioning on, number 5, I have never been so excited. This one caught me off guard. It's not constant joy or anything. I don't want to sell you a dream here, because some Brits especially, they move to Australia, and while it's very beautiful, and while people are very friendly and the beaches are to die for, it is not going to solve your problems at all. And yet for me, I felt like I came home here. Don't worry, the UK is still my home. If my mum's watching this, the UK is still my home. But Australia, I just felt like I found my place, at least for now. And this is a feeling I can't quite put into words, but thankfully I've seen from lots of you lovely people commenting on my previous videos, yeah, I used to live in this country, I moved to Australia, and I just haven't left. But it's this feeling that I feel like life is moving forward for the better, and I'm not staying still, and I'm not getting worse. But I want to be really honest about something that I was experiencing not only in London, but when I was at university in Cornwall. I didn't realise how tired I was until I wasn't anymore, if that makes sense. Things had got really heavy for me in the UK, even after I decided to quit alcohol. I didn't know where I was going. I found the love of my life, and I could see that London was wearing her down, which was making me sad. And despite being a video editor for YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and I say that not to brag, but to emphasize the fact I was working this job that some people might have thought was really lucrative, but I actually still was only making just enough money to get by, and I was overworked. And so I guess what I'm saying is that some people will say to you, moving country is being a coward, it's being lazy, it's being a quitter, quitting your country. But look, you can always move back to your country. You're not going to get exiled. And honestly, moving countries is one of the bravest things you can do. It is daunting, it is a stressful time, it requires not only a lot of physical hard work, packing the boxes and, organising and checking off the checklists, but also mentally. The homesickness, the adapting to culture shock, adapting to maybe learning a new language if you're not moving to Australia and somewhere else, especially if you're around my age, like 27 years old, and you are convinced that your environment is getting you down, why not give somewhere like Australia a little go? Just give it a little cheeky go. You might love it. And the thing is, if you don't, home is waiting for you, which is the beautiful thing. But if I didn't move it, oh my word, don't know what I'd be doing with my life. Number 6, my skin is less inflamed. This is a niche one, I know. I was looking at a few of my old videos today, and I realized that when I first moved here, my skin was looking really puffy. Bear in mind, at this point in my life, I just ran 3 marathons and pretty much stay away from fast food. So I was like, what is going on? But then for some reason, and I'm not trying to be vain here, and I look at photos of me now and my skin is less inflamed. But if I had to put it down to one thing, I would say it's Australia. I would say it's that I'm getting a much higher level of vitamin D, even though I supplement it as well. The brutal Brisbane humidity and hills are making my running workouts more difficult, so maybe that is making me, I don't know, look a bit more gaunt. But the main thing is that I am less stressed here. So I went away and did a bit of research, and as you can see, this study shows that when you're less stressed, you are less inflamed, you do look less puffy, and when your body is safer, you start feeling socially safer as well. And by the way, I was looking at my analytics lately, and I noticed that over 87% of you who regularly watch these videos aren't yet subscribed. So if you are enjoying this even a little bit, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me to keep these videos coming. Number 7. You don't feel like an outsider here. This mattered more than I expected it. You're definitely different, sure. I mean, if I could get $1 for every time someone called me a pom, oh my word, I would be very rich. But you're not like a weird guy. Stand in the corner, you weird man. No one's ever said that to me, which is nice. And people are actually curious about you and not closed off. And having lived in Japan for 2 years of my early life, I know exactly what it feels like to be an outsider, because while I had quite a few Japanese friends there, you definitely got different treatment as a foreigner. And weirdly, I feel like I've even felt that at the UK at times. I feel like maybe people can smell on me that you want to move to Australia, don't you? I know that sounds superstitious and crazy, but maybe that's something more to talk to my therapist about. And feeling like you belong, it really does change the world around you, because number 8, the sunshine is a lifeline for me. Sunlight here feels medical. Don't worry, I'm not one of those health gurus that you see when you doom scrolling, like put sunlight on these parts of the body. I'm not going to say which ones. If you know, you know. But I must admit, my brain works better as long as I've got my 8 or 9 hours of sleep, and I feel like I just have more clarity. I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing. And when I got here, the first couple of weeks, I felt like the sun was just ivy dripping in my blood and I was loving it. Weird analogy, sorry. I wake up in the mornings not dreading the day, but really excited for it, really excited to get out in it. But the sunshine has also given me this, number 9, which is you become more grateful for the little things. Gratitude, it stops feeling like a chore, you know, something that all the productivity and self-help experts tell you to practice. Write 5 things you're grateful for every morning and you will feel more grateful. Well, living in London, I would do that, quite literally. And I'm going to be honest, it didn't really help. But when I'm having a coffee outside, when I'm going for a little stroll through the bushland, where I'm having a really just chill convo with someone and I don't feel any social pressure at all, gratitude sneaks in without you even asking for it. You do suddenly start becoming more grateful, and sometimes I've actually had these euphoric waves whilst living in Australia where I just feel grateful for everything, everywhere, all at once. Great film, by the way. And you stop waiting for these big wins in life, like the promotion or, you know, win the lottery, to have this wave of gratitude. It is a consistent daily thing. Maybe not daily, life, you know, we all have bad days, but it's pretty regular. And that groundedness, it does something very sneaky. It makes distance feel very different. Because number 10, I'm feeling closer to my British family than I ever have done before. This makes no logical sense, but it's true. Yes, I am thousands of kilometers away from my loved ones. Yes, I'm sure my mum and dad would prefer me to be back in Cheltenham with them having a lovely roast dinner, but I have to be way more on it with calling them every weekend, because that time is very valuable. Texting is more intentional, and so I feel like I'm almost communicating more with my loved ones back at home, friends as well, because I know I'm not there to spend in-person time with them. So I know I have to almost compensate for that, but not overcompensate for it. And because of this, I have grown closer to these people. I am still part of their life. Yes, I don't get the invites to things you know, like dinners and stuff when I'm away. A lot of people worry about when you move to Australia, will I feel guilty about like moving here? But they'll get over it. And if they genuinely love you, they'll be happy that you're happy. This leads me on to point number 11. You become a more productive person. The mixture of lots of vitamin D making you feel good, my sleep improving, not being as stressed, being more relaxed and enjoying life. I have found that work is easier for me to do. Yes, I still have days where I do not want to get out of bed and I don't want to work at all, but things take less effort, they feel like. Focus is easier to grasp. I would say I probably work a bit less than I did, and I enjoy the process a lot more. Which brings me on to this other realization, number 12. It's not as different as you might think. A lot of people are reluctant of moving to Australia because they think it's going to be too far away from the norm. Oh, I won't get my McVitie's digestive biscuits. Mate, they've got them here. Australia isn't another planet. And I know people love to joke about how Brits are always the ones moving to Australia. But honestly, you get people from all walks of life, so many different cultures move here. Yes, things are different. Yes, their crisps aren't as good in my opinion, but the cool stuff is very familiar. You meet almost a childhood version of yourself that finds the joy in everyday moments, has that wonder about life again, has that curiosity, has that adventure in you. You want to become more adventurous because how can you not somewhere like this? Moving here doesn't make life perfect again. It will not solve your problems, your debt, your relationship issues, not at all. I'm not gonna lie, but it does make living an enjoyable life feel possible again, and it does give you that little kick up the bum that sometimes we need in life. If you want to keep the adventure going, go watch this video here, all about the 13 things I had never seen before until I moved to Australia. I want to see if you've seen any of them yourself before. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, really helps me to keep these videos coming. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.